And without further ado, I want to share this little story with you, if I may. Oh, by the way, yes, our theme is the Brass Cats. We're going to feature some wonderful trumpeters, trombonists, and something else that's coming up in just a moment. Last year, if you were with us last semester, it was either our last session or the session before last. Charlie Owens, who joins us each and every semester, came out and did his thing like only Charles Owens can. And after the broadcast, he was talking about some of the people he's played with in the last several months. And he asked me if I had heard about a certain trumpeter. I said, no, I'm not familiar with that name. He said, well, you need to get familiar with that name because he is truly a young phenom. I said, well, I'm anxious to hear his music. Subsequent to that last evening with Charles Owens, he invited me to a private party held on the other side of town. It was essentially a Christmas party. And he indicated that this trumpeter would be in the band, along with Marvin Smith, who joined me 2 or 3 times last semester. And who else was in the band? James Leary, who joined us last semester as well. Just a great, great organization. And I finally had a chance to meet this young trumpeter that Charles was raving about. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I had the opportunity to hear him finally, not one, not twice, but on 3 different occasions. And I said, Charles Owens, now I know what you're talking about after hearing this extraordinary young trumpeter. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Mr. Curtis Taylor. Curtis, welcome, man.
My man. Thank you for having me.
So great to have you, man.
Thank you.
Very, very special. This young man to my left, again, having heard him in different contexts as part of a large orchestra, the Charles Owens Big Band, as well as a septet with the trombonist Phil Randlin. Septet, he was one of 4 guys in the front line. Mm-hmm. And then I heard him in the quintet configuration with Charles, of course, out front on primarily tenor saxophone and Curtis on trumpet. And when I got together with him that first time, I said, we do a little television. Would love to have you come out and join us. And here he is. So I'm truly grateful. Given the fact,
made it.
Yeah,
3 sessions left.
3 sessions, yes, indeed. But again, welcome to Cal State Dominguez Hills out in Carson, California.
Thank you for having me.
There's so much to talk about, Curtis. One thing that we have in common is we both work for the Cal State system.
Yeah.
I'm out here at Dominguez Hills, and you are?
San Marcos.
San Marcos,
yeah.
Down south of us.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Tell our viewing audience a little bit about that gig that you have working for the college.
Well, I just started on assignment January 28th, the beginning of this semester. Mm-hmm. I teach the jazz ensemble there. And it's quite an assignment because music as a major is this is its 2nd semester.
Oh,
so
it's a new program.
It's very, very new. The college itself has only been established in existence since 1989.
89, okay.
So the music program is brand new. Obviously, needless to say, they don't have a dedicated jazz program yet. So basically, I'm trying to fit all these core skills into my 1 3-hour class that meets Thursday night, 6 to 9. Mm-hmm. Have about 10 students, and I'm trying to cram as much as I can in jazz history, listening, improvisation, maybe even a little on-the-spot arranging. We're doing, working with horns and singers, and I'm telling them, okay, this is what you would do in a live setting. You guys come up with this and that. Mm-hmm. So it's been challenging, but
sure.
It's been rewarding as well.
Let me guess, your 10 students, a few freshmen, a few sophomores, some juniors, seniors, or is it?
Yeah, it's a mix. It's a mix. Mm-hmm. Also, too, because it's so new, there's no audition requirement or anything like that. So basically, if you play an instrument, you can come aboard. Which can be difficult because we have a mix of different levels. Some people are music majors, so they have a little bit more knowledge. Yeah. Some people, they just, they play music as a hobby, but but they want to be a part of the ensemble, yeah. And they have a little bit of skill, so they're there. Mm-hmm. So the challenge is trying to, find where everybody's at, and then, bring them up.
So before you actually take them in as students, is there an audition process?
No.
To determine their skill level?
So basically what we did the first day is I was like, play something for me that you've played in the past. Something. It could be something that's written. It could be, a popular song, something, just so I can get a sense of, how you sound, where you're coming from. And then I had them improvise on something just to see where they were at there.
Are these all brass students?
No, we have 3 singers, trumpet, 2 trumpets, two trumpets, tenor, bass and drums, and piano.
Okay.
Yeah, so
got a little band going on there.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so
I know that's a challenge, as you said.
It is.
Especially if you got different skill levels coming into that same ensemble. Trying to
definitely
get everybody on the same page.
Yeah.
And emphasizing those very, very fundamental things like practice, and more practice.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Breathing.
Yep.
And from where I sit, Curtis, listening.
Yeah. And we just spent our last couple of classes were on listening and transcription.
Right.
And I just said to them, I was like, are you guys having difficulty with improvising still? And they're like, yeah, we're still trying to figure this out. I was like, I got something that's gonna solve your problem. And they're like, yeah, give it to us. And I'm like, listening, because I mean, it's like a language. So,
yes, exactly right.
I mean, if you don't listen to the language being spoken, how do you expect to speak it?
Yeah.
If you just read it in a book, it's not the same.
You hail from Ohio.
Ohio,
Yeah.
OH10.
From Ohio. Initial schooling, obviously, in the Ohio public schools. You tell me.
Well, I was born in Ohio, Mount Sinai Hospital in 1985 at 10:06 p.m.
This man's got it right to the second.
At least that's what my mama told me.
That's important.
Then my formative years were spent in Cleveland proper, and then we moved to a suburb of Cleveland, Bedford, Ohio, and so most of my matriculation was through the Bedford city, schools, and that's pretty much.
Subsequently went to, was it U of M or Michigan State?
No, Michigan State.
Oh,
those are fighting words there, man.
Okay.
My first week on campus, they were burning couches, man, and they was like, because of U of M and Michigan State game, I guess didn't go the right way, and they were tear gassing, and I was like, okay, welcome to Michigan State.
A little bit of a rivalry.
Yeah.
And those of you who are, I suspect most of you watching are very familiar with the UCLA-USC rivalry. Well, I'm sure it's probably a heck of a lot more intense between those two colleges.
Them and Ohio State, I believe, they have a rivalry as well.
Okay, exactly.
Yeah.
Got your BA in Jazz Studies from Michigan State, subsequently went to Rutgers. How did you end up in Jersey after leaving Michigan
Very
State?
simple story. I studied with Derek Gardner at Michigan State University, and he studied with William Professor Fielder. Everybody called him Prof. And Prof has taught everybody who's had a serious career in trumpet. Most notably, Wynton Marsalis, Terrence Blanchard, Sean Jones, Mike Mossman. The list goes on and on. Even Ralph Peterson was there studying at the same time because he plays trumpet a little bit. I don't know if he took proper lessons with Prof, but he was involved in the program.
For those of you that may not know, Curtis mentioned Ralph Peterson, who is one of the great drummers of our time. His Fotet has been on the scene for many, many years. But I didn't know he played a little trumpet.
Yeah. He actually, because unfortunately I got to study with Prof for a year at Rutgers, and then he got sick my second year there, and then he soon passed after that. But Wynton came back and spoke at a ceremony honoring Prof, and so did Ralph Peterson, and he played a little trumpet. So I think it was Wynton, Ralph Peterson, and a couple other guys that came in. They did a little tribute to Prof.
Fantastic. Yeah. Subsequent to getting your advanced degree at Rutgers, how long were you in Jersey before you headed west to Southern California?
Oh, wow. Up until 2014.
Okay.
So 2007 until 2014.
Yeah, and you were involved in various endeavors subsequent to your getting your advanced degree and then moving west.
Yeah, it was a rocky road.
I ask all my guests 2 or 3 fundamental questions.
Okay.
What brought you west? Love, money, both, none of the above?
I guess in a way money, but more opportunity. So quality of life, which is money to me, you know, quality of life is huge. And I came out here to pursue, just like I went to the East Coast to pursue my goals as a musician. And I met a producer, I'm sure we'll talk about later, for Gregory Porter, who lived out this way. And I came out here for a recording session with another vocalist. And I was like, wow, it's 70 and sunny and people are nice like this? Like, this is every day? What am I doing on the East Coast? You know?
And the climate ain't too bad out here either. Huh?
Consistent weather.
Yeah.
I can't beat it.
Before we take our first call, and thank you, caller, for hanging in there. Just another question or two of Curtis. Growing up, Curtis, well, first of all, why are you a trumpet player, not a saxophone player? A, and B, did you begin playing trumpet when you got involved in music, or did you start on another axe? The reason I asked that question is inevitably, I asked that question over the years of so many guests, and I'd say 9 out of 10 of them started on another instrument other than the one that they're known for.
Wow.
Does that apply to you?
It would have, but it doesn't, because so basically, luckily, fortunately for me, music was still in the schools when I was going to school.
Yes, sir.
And it was 4th or 5th grade. There was an instrument symposium in our gym. All these different booths, you know, trombone, trumpets, the whole gambit, saxophone. And you could go to each booth and, you know, like mess around with each instrument to see which, you know, you feel that you would be interested in.
Sure.
So in this symposium, I did that, and I became interested in saxophone. But once my band director informed my mother how much a student model saxophone would cost, and we had just moved, my mom had just moved us into Bedford at that point. She just laid down a deposit, just laid down the first month's rent and all that. So it was like, you ain't playing saxophone. So she said, well, maybe trumpet would be more affordable. Yeah. So it was kind of decided for me. So, I mean, I guess I could thank the good Lord.
All right.
For that.
And the fact of the matter is, for those of you that may not be familiar with this young man's music, stay tuned. You will be pleasantly surprised. Let's take our first call.